Star Children Initiative, it's a not-for-profit organization that provides practical and sustainable solutions to the challenges faced by children living with disability and their parents. We also promote human rights of children and youth living with disability, and we promote inclusion in both UK and Nigeria. Our policies aligns with the Sustainable Development Goals that says leave no one behind. There is still a lot of stigma that surrounds disability, and we are the voice to break this stigma. That means we have to work with other people to spark that social change, especially in the area of breaking the stigma that surrounds disability. Research has suggested that ethnicity, our culture, religion affects the way we perceive disability, which is obviously affecting a lot of people that are either living with disability or raising children living with disability. So that's why they are marginalized within their community. And this is actually causing a lot of concern because the people living with disability are not exposed to work opportunities because of the misconceptions. Because people think once you are disabled, you don't have any cognition, you are not able to learn. You are not able to add anything to your community. You are not productive. So there has to be a shift in the mindset of people. Even in this country, people that are from black ethnic background, because I run a peer-to-peer support group in London, and people from black ethnic minorities. Some of them still hide their children. Some of them don't even know what they can do. And recently we did a focus group for parents in Hackney Community Services. And what happened was that we realized that there are three categories of parents, especially in the area of parents raising children with disability. One of them is that some parents are disengaged. That means these parents don't even care whatever happens. They don't even want to know whatever happens. They are not involved within anything that has to do with their children. And for me, that's really sad. There are some parents that are struggling, and I think I felt initially, I fell into that group because most of the services are not culturally appropriate to meet the needs of parents within this country. And some of them, English is not our first language. I'm from Nigeria, English is my first language, so I'm lucky in that sense. So some parents are struggling to get advice, to get information, to understand the diagnosis of their children. So that is those things are creating a lot of problems for parents. So for us as Star Children Initiative, we engage in capacity building of parents. We don't want any parent to feel alone. We don't want any parent to struggle. The solution we're looking for is within us. And part of it is the fact that we need to come together to actually get advice, support one another, and that's where, as a team, we can achieve results for our children. Then the third category, which I forgot to emphasize, is that some of us raising children where we have some parents that are achievers, but although they are very small, minute. Because when you're raising a child with disability, obviously the physical pressure and the emotional stress is always there. And it's really an Herculean task, raising a child with disability. But those challenges can be minimized and can be reduced drastically if we come together as parents and support one another to get the best advice, to get the best support, because the system is changing now, and you don't need, any parent doesn't need to feel alone when it comes to raising a child with disability. In Nigeria, I deal with parents. I believe from my own experience and with other consultation with other parents, we need to maximize our capacity for our children. So I engage more in capacity building for the parents' personal growth in raising their children. The capacity to excel, the capacity to exceed, the capacity to be the best parent that you want to be. So it's a way of empowering ourselves where we can get advice, where we can get support from one another, where we can give an insight into our problems that we go through in raising our children, even with the authority. Because in England, things are getting, because of the welfare courts, so many parents raising children are living in poverty. So many parents don't even know they are distressed, they are depressed, they have it up to their neck and they don't know what else to do. So, and when you go through that alone, that can have an impact on your overall well-being. And that can, if care is not taken, you can start having a kind of mental illness, and that will affect your parenting skills, one, and secondly, it will affect your creating an enabling environment for your children. In Nigeria, it's another scenario. Some of those children face a serious abuse. The strong area is the area of neglect, where sometimes they lock them in the house. So some of them are living in poverty. Most of them are living in poverty, and it's not really good for the children's well-being. And because of the stigma that still permeates strongly in Nigeria regarding disability, most of these parents, they feel so depressed, they don't know what to do, they hide those children, some of them kill those children. And what we are doing is to raise an awareness about the fact that these children, they are children first and foremost. They are not witches. And because I'm also a parent of a child living with disability, when they see me, it empowers them. And they see their children. Now we have a parent support group in Nigeria, and we've done a lot of advocacy works. For instance, we've done a kind of sensitization with some local governments in Oyo State. We are promoting employability of disabled youths, because we don't want them to internalize their disability. We want them to progress, to look beyond their disability. So we support other disabled youths, and we also give them assistive devices. We give them people that have restricted mobility or people that cannot move at all. We are a small organization with big dreams, and we are trying to do our best to achieve our outcomes in areas of our thematic areas, which is education, health, welfare, and safety, and especially the youths. But what we are doing now aligns more with the Sustainable Development Goals in the area of leave no one behind. So part of it is to improve the human rights of disabled people or disabled youths and children, to access opportunities in the area of education. So we are doing a campaign on GoFundMe regarding to buy things that can enable them to access quality education, things that will make their life easier when they're in school or when they're going to school. And now we are doing, in the area of health, we are trying to do something where we want to collaborate with an organization in America, and who are medical doctors, and we want to actually promote early intervention where before the problem escalates. We realize that because those parents are poor, and because of the stigma, those parents are not actually doing what they're supposed to do to protect their children. The support is actually non-existent in Nigeria, which is really sad. So we are trying our best within our limit. And one thing of the challenges is the fact that funding is an area of a challenge for us. And secondly, we work with other organizations that we share the same outcomes. I believe in exploring what I'll call collaborative approach with other like-minded organizations, serious organizations that we want to achieve, because Star Children cannot do it alone. We have to improve our network, which we are doing. We are working with other organizations, and we want to work on child protection, which I think it's a cause for concern in Africa or developing countries, and of course in Nigeria as well. So we are liaising with other NGOs who can work with us and be able to achieve the outcome in the best interest of our target service users. My name is Mrs. Grace Alexander Bimbola. I'm the CEO of StarInitiative. It's an international organization that promotes the human rights and the inclusion of children and youth living with disability. And we also provide practical and sustainable solutions to the challenges faced by parents of children living with disability and their children living with disability. So it's my thing. I'm also a proud mother of a child living with disability. I will tell you, I'm blessed having him as a son. I've always been saying that. And I realize that I've grown professionally and personally. I've learned a lot. And I believe that whatever stuff we all go through, whatever stuff we go through, we shouldn't allow it to overwhelm us or to let us lose hope or be discouraged. It can be a path to our growth.